Hi friends, it's Julie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally back with a new video for you guys. I know that I've taken a couple months off, and honestly it was because I just wasn't reading at the end of last year. I went through a huge reading slump and the books that I was picking up were just really disappointing me, and yeah, so I just stopped reading, so I didn't really have anything to talk with you guys about. But since this year has started, I've been reading so many good things, and so that love of reading has been like reignited for me, and so I just really missed talking with you guys about the book. So I just felt like filming today, and yeah, I guess we'll just give it a try. But I will say it was nice to take a couple months off. You know, I got to focus on my other hobbies. I played a lot of ukulele, I played lots of games and board games with my girls, and just enjoyed the holidays. My husband and I binged watched the entire series of Shameless, so now we're caught up, and that's become like a favorite show of all time now. But yeah, I really miss chatting with you guys, and so yeah, hopefully I'll get back into filming again. But I just wanted to do a quick catch-up video for you guys and let you know some of the books that I've been reading recently and what I'm currently reading. But to start things off, I just briefly wanted to mention two books that really disappointed me at the end of last year. And the reason why I want to mention these books to you guys is because I think they might be ones you would be interested in. And the first one was Ken by Kealan Patrick Burke. This is a horror novel that a buddy read with a few other booktubers, some of my favorites. And it's about a backwoods hillbilly family that are cannibals. And that right there checks off like a lot of my boxes. Actually, I really enjoy horror novels about backwoods families that are like psychopaths, and unfortunately this one just didn't do it for me. It started out pretty strong, but then the second part of this book, he introduced all these different points of view that I just really think it just took you away from the story and just didn't really add anything to it, and the ending was just very meh. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. And the entire time I was reading this, I kept comparing it to Brother by Anya Ahlborn, which I read last year. You guys, some of you guys might remember. That book has stuck with me over this last year. I can't forget it. It is still the darkest book I've ever read, and these two books are very, very similar. Very similar. I couldn't help but compare the two. And in my opinion, Brother is just done so much better. It's just so much better. So I think that if you're considering picking up Ken, I would pick up Brother instead. It's just a much better book in my opinion. And then the other book that I was really disappointed by at the end of last year might come as a surprise to you guys, because I think the last time I talked with you, I was absolutely loving this. And that is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is hands down my biggest disappointment of 2017. I thought I was going to love this, and when I first picked it up, I was loving it. However, this book just fell so flat for me. I'm not going to rant about it because I think that I could. And, you know, it might have been that I went into this book with really high expectations because I loved Mistborn so much and I'd heard such good things about this, but really it was so boring. It was so boring, and I just feel like it had so much potential and then it just didn't deliver. This has the coolest magic system though. Like, this book honestly has the coolest magic system that I've ever read about, but there's a big portion of this book where you're getting hardly any magic at all. And then at the end, he just info dumped all this information on you that I was like, this would have been nice to have like 400 pages ago. It really disappointed me, and I wanted to love this so much. I do think though that if he does, which I'm pretty sure he is going to be writing a sequel to this book, and if he does, and when it happens, I will definitely pick it up, because I think that if he had another book or something, like he could bring it more together and it would be better. I don't know. I need to make sure I don't go into that one with high expectations either, but I just really wanted to love this, and yeah, and I just didn't. And now moving on to some books that I have loved recently. The first one of those was Love and Other Consolation Prizes by Jamie Ford. This is a historical fiction novel that I picked up at the end of last year, and I absolutely adored it. And I think I loved it even more because I was reading so many books that I was just so disappointed by, that when I finally picked this one up, I was like, yes, a book that I'm enjoying. It was just wonderful. I listened to it mainly on audio, so if you're looking for a good audiobook, I would definitely recommend this one if it sounds interesting to you. But this is a historical fiction novel about this young Chinese American boy named Ernest, who is given away as a prize at the Seattle World's Fair, and the woman who won him is a madam of the biggest brothel in Seattle, and she takes Ernest in and gives him a life that, you know, he never probably would have had, you know, give him more opportunities than he ever would have had. And while he's at the brothel, he meets so many amazing women and people, and he falls in love. And this story was just so incredibly heartwarming. I loved everything about it. It was just full of love, and it talks about life, and just, yeah, it was just absolutely wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. I was, however, a little disappointed because I wanted to read more books by Jamie Ford because I really enjoyed his writing, but when I got on Goodreads and was looking them up, because I'd heard good things about him as an author. Unfortunately, all of his other books are about World War II, so I won't be picking those up. But if he ever does decide to write another book, not about World War II, then I will definitely pick it up because I really enjoyed his writing. And then another book that I absolutely loved was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. I finally got around to reading this, and oh my gosh, guys, I loved this so much, even more than Every Heart a Doorway. So this is the second book in the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire. And in case you don't know anything about this series, which I doubt, but I'll tell you anyway, this is about kids who go through doors into other worlds. So like Alice and Alice in Wonderland, you know, Dorothy, things like that. Although those aren't the worlds that these kids are going into. And in the first book, that is set at a boarding school for kids that have went into these worlds. And then in this book, we follow two of the characters from Every Heart a Doorway, Jack and Jill. And we follow them as young kids, and we follow them as they go into their world. And oh, this was just so good. It was written so wonderfully, just like Every Heart a Doorway. It's amazing that she's able to pack such a story into such a small book. It just completely amazes me. And this book deals with so many important things like parenting and forced gender roles, and I just love how she handles things like that and writes about it. She just writes about them so naturally, and she just has this way of writing such diverse characters, and it's just absolutely incredible. And I love this series so much, and I can't wait to read the third one. I need to go out and buy it like ASAP. And then the last book that I've absolutely loved recently is Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. This is the third and final book in her Live Ship Trader trilogy, and this has become my favorite trilogy of all time. I could gush about these books all day long. I just love them so much. And the thing that I love most about them is hands down the characters. Like Robin Hobb is just a master. She's a master at writing characters. They become so real to you as you read these books. Like, I think about them as real people, and I just, oh, it's just absolutely incredible. If you love character-driven stories or just books with great characters, because this trilogy isn't nearly as character-driven as the Farseer trilogy, which is the first trilogy in this world. This one can be read as a standalone, and there is way more action, there's way more plot, but she doesn't skimp out on the characters in this one. And I didn't think that I could ever love characters more than I did like in Farseer with like Fitz and the Fool and Burrick and everything, but oh, these have just stolen my heart, and I absolutely loved these books. I can't recommend them highly enough. Like, even if you're just going to read them as a standalone, they're just so incredible. Now I just quickly want to tell you about the books that I'm currently reading. The first one is Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders, and the Birth of the FBI by David Grann. This is a non-fiction book that I am reading with my book club, and it's like narrative non-fiction, so it's reading really, really quickly. I actually started this book out on audio, and I was getting a little bit confused because there was lots of name dropping and things like that. I mean, the book is moving very quickly and I'm enjoying it. It was just lots of names, and I just wanted a physical copy so I could flip back and be like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so's daughter or father, you know, things like that. And I was lucky enough to score a copy of this at my library in the limited loan section, and I'm so glad that I did because there's lots of pictures and stuff in it, and so I'm able to put, you know, like a face with a name and things like that, and I'm just really, really enjoying this. Although every time I read something about Native Americans, it just makes me so angry and so sad, and yeah. But I will let you guys know what I think once I finish this. And I actually picked up another nonfiction book when I was at the library because a goal of mine this year is to read more nonfiction. I really slacked on that last year, and so yeah, I'm starting off the year off right. And I picked up Cannibalism, A Perfectly Natural History by Bill Shutt. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I read the prologue and the first chapter, and it's so incredibly fascinating. I can't wait to read more of this. And then I'm also slowly making my way through The Bone Mother by David Demchuk. This is a short story horror collection, and so far I'm enjoying it. It's okay. It has to do with like Ukrainian and Romanian folklore, and I really like folklore type horror. But none of the stories have been super scary so far. I have only like just started it though, so I'll let you guys know what I think because I have heard really good things about this. And then the final book I'm currently reading is Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie. This is the second book in his First Law trilogy, and I'm buddy reading this with Sean from Eclectic Reads. I've already started it. I've only read a couple chapters, but I'll read some more tonight because I'm really enjoying it. I love Joe Abercrombie's writing. It is so easy to read and get into, and I love the dialogue between his characters and everything. So yeah, I can't wait to get further into this. But those are all of the books that I am currently reading and books that I have read recently. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them, or if you've read anything recently that you've loved or you've hated. I would love to know. But I think that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Happy reading. Bye.